Don't be a lemon. Be a rosebud.
Behold the power of magnetism. What would your finishing maneuver be called?
The circumcision.
Follow the process.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, the wrestling podcast where we review every segment of Raw and give you the wrestling news of the week all over WWE and TNA. My name is Turbo Tony and that's the bottom line because Matt Marsander said so.
I like.
Yeah, a bit of Austin there for you this week. How are you doing there today, Matt?
Yeah, not too bad today. And yourself?
Yes, not well. I personally, I'm doing fine. This week of wrestling was probably one of the worst we've done on this show, and I'm a bit afraid to even be podcasting it this week because I don't like to come off as a rant.
Or just the rage begins.
Yeah, I don't like to come off as like we rant a lot about stuff, but I feel like it's warranted this week. So I apologise to people out there who's expecting a nice calm little podcast this week. I don't think you're going to get that. Myself and Matt were not too pleased with the action this week, and we'll talk about why. First of all, I'd like to reference the large number of subscribers that we got from the last episode. Thank you guys for subbing to the channel. We really do appreciate it. We are growing every single week, and it's really nice to be seeing that you got new guys join on this train ride that we're on as we go to this is episode 27 we're on now. Just going on, just doing our thing, leading up to WWE Payback, which is this weekend. And NXT TakeOver is tonight. So
as we record it, yeah.
As we record. They may be asking us, Tony, Matt, what's going on? Normally you do you're recording at the end of the week. You should be able to review NXT. Well, actually, we're doing it a little bit earlier on in the week. Quite busy people. We try and fit it in as quickly as we can. So we'll do our NXT TakeOver review. Possibly when we do the pay-per-view review in the middle of next week as well. So you will get it just a little bit later than you would normally
when we
get.
can, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the good thing about us doing this early, it actually frees me up to do time to actually watch NXT TakeOver, which I think will be the saviour of our wrestling over this week, because it's not been a good week, shall we say.
For this week, yeah.
So, let's get on with it, Matt. I don't want to dawdle any further. A lot of stuff to talk about this week. Got a lengthy TNA discussion, and not for the good of it. So, our main issue, really, with this week, obviously, was just a very poor set of shows that we had. There's a lot of stuff floating around on the meme sites going on. It was quite a forgettable show. I disagree. I think it was memorable, but sometimes for all the wrong reasons. So I mean that's the main issue with that, Now, let's go into our wrestling news of the week. I'm getting ahead of myself now. Not much this week really, as comparison to last week. First of all, as we all know, WWE are having their finance issues. $340 million lost in the stock market. It is gauged that WWE are going to lose roughly $40 million this year for just the launch of the network alone. So a lot of money being lost for WWE here. They said that they are going to be adding in advertisements to the WWE network as early as the beginning of next year, which obviously will coincide with the launch of the network over here in England. How
nice of them.
How nice of them, isn't it? And internationally, of course. I'm guessing that they won't just do England, they're going to do a lot of other places. So yeah, as we saw this coming. They're either going to increase the amount of money that you're going to have to pay each month, or they were going to add in some way of getting themselves revenue through the network, because they're not. This is probably a big indicator of any that they're not getting the subscriber count that they thought they would. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I could sort of stand with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if the network's not bringing in money just through subscriptions alone, then they're going to have to try and find some other way.
And it's been a heavy financial hit for WWE, so they're going to be clawing at any way to get some of that money back. Now, financially, they're okay, WWE, as we said before, but 340 or 380, as obviously as it seems to be adding up the money that they've been losing, they obviously going to have to try and find other ways of accumulating that money back. Vince McMahon is not one of these people to let money run through his fingers and not try and claw it back. He's a shrewd businessman. And that's how he's made his empire, so you can expect... Maybe he won't... I mean, I still don't put it beyond the realm of possibility of him actually still raising the price cap for the WWE Network, even with advertisements in.
I mean, we spoke about this before, but like, even if they did raise the price cap of the WWE Network, it's still a good price.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it'd still be an awesome price, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, if we think about it, if they're going to add advertisements in, there might be like maybe 20-second advertisements at the beginning of a 3-hour show. It depends on how you watch. If you want to flick between different episodes, you're probably going to be watching a lot of ads. But I mean, this isn't
Yeah.
going to be coming in for a long time anyway. We don't know how WWE are going to incorporate this, but it's just interesting to see their 180 turnaround on it. That they're going to be making a lot of changes to this in the future to try and claw back that revenue. A little bit of news that we missed last week just because we did our podcast earlier on in the week than well, not we usually do, but we just missed it. It's in that off little period before Raw airs and we record our podcast. Ric Flair is set to return to WWE television in a long-term basis. This was announced. Not so much announced, but obviously it's come out. You know that Flair is set to return. The interesting thing about this, though, and I don't know if you heard about this yourself, there, Matt, is that he asked originally to work with Dolph Ziggler. He wanted to manage Ziggler, which to me sounds like something that would be exactly what Ziggler needs at the moment. He needs something, to get this guy back, just in regular TV time. And Flair can talk for Ziggler.
That's it. As just to have the backing of someone like Flair would just be awesome for him.
Yeah.
Even if it's not sort of like not even if he like managed him sort of on the screen, but even just off screen would just be a huge kick.
Yeah. And pass it on to John. But WWE, as we know, they just seem to have something against Ziggler. They said no, we're not going to let you work with Ziggler. Instead, you're going to manage The Miz.
Yeah, well, they had their bit beforehand, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of storyline, it might make more sense. But to be honest, this just it doesn't make any sense to me at all. The Miz isn't going to make them any more money. He's
The Miz isn't just the Miz doesn't make them money.
Yeah, like he's never going to get back to the spot on the roster that he had during that time when he was WWE champion. He's never ever in his career going to get back there.
He's not going to get that spot on the roster when they just needed someone to hold the belt for a while.
Yeah, he was a body, during that time. He was lucky to be their chosen flavor of the month, to be there while Cena and Rock were doing their thing. So in that sense, he's very, very lucky. And in the sense, he's going to be very lucky again to be working alongside people like this. Flair's going to obviously, we've said some negative stuff about Flair before. But the whole thing about it is that regardless of it, he's still one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
He's still Ric Flair.
Yeah, he's still Ric Flair, so he can still give you something. And like I said, there's something ideally. I mean, Ziggler's got a lot of potential. He can still give you a lot of stuff, even though he's been in the business for a while, especially in WWE for a while. But it boggles me, to be honest. I think it's a big waste of Flair to be giving him to Miz. I don't think there's much good that can come out of that. And Ziggler's going to be wailing away in nothingness when he could probably give you match of the night every single week if you gave him the chance to.
That's it. Well, the one thing I'm kind of quite happy for, though, is at least Ziggler hasn't slipped into the Sandow stage.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get into that obviously as it goes on because man, that's looking just as depressing as the rest of it.
Oh yeah.
So, moving on to first of all, I want to clear TNA. First of all, okay, because the reason why I want to talk about TNA first is because we do our Raw review. That's the bulk of the show, and I don't want to talk about TNA after we're exhausted of talking about Raw for the entire thing. So here's the thing, Matt. You obviously haven't caught TNA for quite a while now. You haven't watched it for years, I think. Is that, or you catch it every now and then?
I try. I do try. Don't anyone turn around and say, "Oh, you haven't given it a chance." I've given it a chance.
Yeah.
It just doesn't catch me. It doesn't. It's never grabbed my attention for more than sort of 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, for people that may be new to the show, Matt reviews NXT, I review TNA. So I've been watching TNA for, I'd say, about the last 2 months. Two maybe 3. I've only made this a regular part of the show recently, but I did obviously a few weeks of watching the show and their pay-per-views, because luckily I get it free over here. I wouldn't pay for their pay-per-views. To get ready to start reviewing it on the show, because I know TNA is still the second biggest televised wrestling show in, even though there is only 2, but you know what I mean. It's still got a constant TV spot, so it's still in the wrestling universe, if you know what I mean. So we made an active effort to review it. First couple of weeks, I was pleasantly surprised at some of the talent that they had, and I've said this before. I think they've got some stars there that if they book right and they give the right time and they present right, that they can make them into big guys for that company for many, many years if they do it right. Obviously TNA don't have a very good track record. So
I believe they do it right. But do you know one thing I learned recently?
Mm,
You'll never. Do you know who was at TNA at one point?
go on.
Dean Ambrose.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people that's gone to
But it's
TNA
just
and
like,
going in and
but it's
out.
like he's now come to the WWE and he's a star.
Yeah.
And it's like, whilst in TNA, it's just like,
Mm.
nah.
But there's a lot of people that's gone through TNA. You look at the likes of CM Punk had some time in TNA as well.
Did he?
Yeah, yeah. I mean his early career, but I mean these people come in, they flitter in and out. Sometimes they don't like them, or sometimes it doesn't work for them, and then they end up looking at them on WWE and they're thinking, okay, we kind of passed that up a little bit.
That's it.
Um,
Where's the money?
yeah. Now, I don't want to say, oh, they're passing all this great talent, they've got a shit roster. In fact, TNA have a very good roster, one that, in terms of quality in the ring, could actually rival WWE on a given night. So they're actually pretty gifted in that sense. They've got some really good wrestlers on their card. Now, they've obviously got rid of a lot of them since I started watching, the likes of AJ Styles, one of the very good wrestlers in the world today. And then you've got a few other TNA stalwarts that have left the company since then. Now, I want to talk about this week's episode of TNA. I wondered when the reason why I was talking about this in general, I wondered when I first started watching TNA where they got such a bad rap from. Really, where was all this coming from? Because of what I saw, it wasn't horrendous. I mean, yeah, some bits were pretty bad, but I wasn't seeing a huge gap in quality over maybe what WWE were producing sometimes on their weaker shows. This week, and some of the weeks that precede this one, are exactly the reason why I understand now the bad reputation that they have. And it's warranted. Okay? I once said that if TNA focuses on their in-ring content, then they can match WWE every week, which I know is what they want to do.
You have said that, yeah.
WWE sometimes don't really care about their wrestling matches. Some of their weeks they'll give, most of their matches may only last 5 minutes. So you could give matches of the week to TNA if they choose to do that in terms of in-ring quality. They, unfortunately, in terms of outside the ring, seem to have a severe medical issue of having their head planted too firmly inside their own arse. I think that's probably the best way I can put it, okay? This week's episode was nothing short of a catastrophe, and I mean a catastrophe of monumental proportions. I have not seen a bad wrestling show this bad for many, many, many years. That's how bad this was, okay? Just want to set that in, alright?
Okay.
I don't like, if you guys caught this before, we've been quite generous to TNA. I've said I've liked some of their weeks of shows. And if a show is quite bad, normally we kind of look out at the shining lights. There was no shining lights on this show. This was abysmal. Okay? I'm going to explain why it was abysmal. MVP has a new faction. You've probably caught some of the pictures, Matt, of MVP's new faction. Bobby Lashley and Kenny King. MVP obviously is now the corrupt power figure in TNA, which didn't take him very, very long, of course. Okay, so the whole segment, the whole storyline around it sucks anyway to begin with, okay? MVP and his faction must have been, in title of the show, of what I saw of it anyway, because, I caught the majority of it. I didn't catch the end because I had to tap out of the show and give up for a little while. I was planning to go back of it, but obviously we're recording early this week, so I didn't. MVP's new faction was probably in 2, maybe 3 segments away from being in the entire show. Just every single segment being MVP and his faction. Okay? They first lay out the Wolves to start the show. So, the guys that have been doing pretty much some really good, decent tag team wrestling in the last couple of weeks, they're out of the show, so that's gone. So, they're injured, whatever. So, they basically, I'm going to talk about a segment later on, okay, that involves these guys. Actually, fuck it, I'll do it now, because otherwise I'm going to lose my rage on this, okay? So, MVP basically has brawls with just random people backstage constantly over and over again with just people, that might look at them the wrong way. Just brawls with them,
Mm-hmm.
And then they come down to attack EY, who's obviously, Eric Young is the champion. MVP's going to be facing him. So maybe that's got some semblance of fucking reality in regards to this, okay? So they basically attack Eric Young, okay? So this is like the 5th person that they have attacked on the show, okay? Then Dixie Carter decides that she's going to come down. Now you've got to remember in storyline, Matt, Dixie Carter is banned from Impact, and her only excuse for not being on the show is because she's still the president of the company. That's her only excuse. Okay.
So what MVP banned her?
She was banned, yeah, and she lost a match, which removed. They gave MVP his power and all this garbage, right? So she shows up on the show even though she's banned. Okay, MVP even references this. Okay, but she doesn't do anything. There's no one taking her out of the show. He doesn't force her out or anything. So basically, that's just stupid. Okay. Dixie's now rivaling with Bully Ray. Now you think, what are you thinking, Matt? This segment's going on quite a while, isn't it? It's got all these random people coming in and out.
Yeah.
You have not seen anything yet, okay? Bully Ray comes down, right? And it's already a very long segment. This is all one segment, right? So you can imagine the flow of the show is dead by this point. The fans don't give a shit.
Oh, yeah.
Bully Ray comes down, and Dixie, and Ethan Carter the third, which is, her bodyguard, I guess, for this segment.
Bateman.
Bateman, essentially. EC3, basically, they ditch it. So instead of Bully Ray chasing them, which Bully Ray's been invading her home and invading her office for the last couple of weeks, he decides, no, I'm actually going to start a fight with MVP, like a fucking moron, because he's just seen so many people get dicked by no three of them, and Bully Ray, with his infinite knowledge, decides, I'm going to start a fight with them. Why not?
Yeah! No.
This segment continues. It keeps going on. He gets laid out. Dixie and EC3 come back, okay, after, Bully Ray's still getting attacked by MVP's lot, and then Bully Ray gets put through a table by EC3. Then the segment ends.
Hang on.
What?
How does EC3 put Bully through a table?
By slamming him through a table. But you've got to remember that this is all one long segment, so he's got to get the table into the ring, set up, put him through. Okay.
I'm also just thinking the sheer size difference.
Well, EC3 is actually he's got a decent build to him.
He's granted. So what I've seen, he has a better build than when he was Bateman.
Yeah.
But that's how.
Well, you also haven't seen TNA a while. Billy Ray's a lot slimmer now than he was maybe when you've seen him. He's got a better build to himself as well. So anyway, that was the end of the segment. So, first off, attack on E-Way. Dixie Carter comes down. Bully Ray comes down. Gets attacked by MVP. Then gets put through a table by EC3. It was so convoluted, and I was waiting for this thing to end 3 segments before it should have ended. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It killed the flow of the show. I was done. The final topping of the cake is when Dixie Carter tells us all, I don't fear Bully Ray. Dixie Carter fears no one. And you know what? That might be true, but I feared watching the rest of the show because it was so bad. It wasn't just this. So you think that segment, which is probably one of the worst segments, I would take Michael Strahan over that segment, okay? That's how bad it was.
Jesus.
And nonsensical it was. So, other things to do with this show. The Knockouts match, it was okay, but it's not nearly as much as what I've been expecting from them all this time. They have a brain-dead referee who has the hops for Velvet Sky. This guy also, a couple of weeks ago, which I failed to mention, missed a ref bump spot. So basically, he was meant to get hit in the head, goes down, doesn't see, Bully Ray gets put through another table, because, that's the only thing that he can do to insult Bully Ray is put him through tables.
Yeah.
So he gets missed by this, I think it's Bobby Roode who was lifting him up. So in order to sell the fact that he was supposed to get hit, the guy acts as if he has a brain aneurysm and falls to the ground. You may think I'm joking. This is legitimate, and it's on YouTube. Botchamania did a brilliant thing where they replayed it a ton of times because it was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Okay. Also on this show, it gets worse. It gets worse, Matt. It actually gets worse. Okay. One of the shining lights that I said for this show, right, was Gunner. Yeah, I've said to you this. This guy got an intriguing backstory. Former US military, great build, looks good, pretty good wrestler, had some great matches with James Storm. So you think you want him out there each night, showing him exactly why this guy's one of your top guys, getting him in these long matches, showing that this guy's a warrior, a legitimate competitor, right? For some reason, he's now Samuel Shaw's therapist. And he's not on the show. He shows up on these 10-second vignettes in the middle of some of the matches where he's asking Sam Shaw, who, by the way, he's a stalker of Christy Hemme, why is he feeling this way, and I want to help you. So now Gunner is taking the role of Dr. Shelby. So he's now Dr. Gunner to me, and they may have ruined him, okay? To me. because of this show as well. There is worse stuff. Well, not worse stuff. The Hot MVP was pretty much the worst stuff. There is bad stuff on this show. The show had nothing to offer me. It had no good wrestling. All of these segments were bad. All of the storylines are absolutely fucking shocking. And I couldn't get to the end of the match. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. One other thing. After that whole MVP fiasco, so you got Davey Richards, who's one half of the Wolves, who didn't get injured in the earlier ambush. Okay.
Right.
And you know Billy Ray started a fight with him because he's a fucking moron with MVP and the three guys because he hasn't seen enough guys get decimated throughout the night in very boring vignettes and stuff in the ring. He decides to come out to the ring and call out MVP, even though they obviously come out from the back, the same place that he came from. So he calls out MVP's group. He proceeds to get dicked by the three of them because he's a fucking moron as well.
Oh dear.
TNA. This is the reason why people laugh at you. And this is the reason why this week I laughed at you. I almost cried at you because of how bad this show was. And if this is what you've got to show leading up into your next big event, which is supposed to be your Slammiversary, which you've been showing lots of brilliant clips of brilliant matches that have happened before in plenty of the years, maybe when TNA was a lot better than it was now, I'm not interested in seeing this show. It's going to be more MVP bollocks. It's going to be more Dixie Carter, who wishes she was half as good as Stephanie McMahon, and she's trying to be Stephanie McMahon every single week she goes out there. And it's going to be a lot of these matches that I could not give a shit about. So, there's my TNA review this week. Alright, I feel like good that I've got it out of my system. I urge you, even though I want you to understand how bad this show was, I urge you to never, ever watch this week's episode of TNA, which technically is last week for America, so maybe I've got too late. Maybe you've already watched it. Okay. Also on this show, so sorry, my TNA review is not over. One other thing, they're doing this storyline with Magnus, who, as you know, is the former world heavyweight champion. Yep. Got beaten by EY. He's obviously in a funk now. This guy Bram has come back. I believe he's one of the guys that used to be in the Ascension before that broke up, so he's down in TNA. As far as I know, I may have got that wrong, I don't know, I'm not sure. But anyway.
He's still going?
Yeah, but obviously one guy left it, didn't he? And I think
one guy got fired.
Yeah, so yeah, this guy got fired. I think this is the same guy. So they're running this storyline that Magnus needs to find his edge again. So Bram is now putting him in a bunch of matches with Willow, who is just laughable in the best of times because he sucks. And he basically, they're doing this bit where Bram keeps handing Magnus stuff to keep hitting, Willow over the head and obviously get the win, right? Magnus for the last couple of weeks has been refusing to do so and getting pinned. Literally the minute that he gives it up, he gets pinned by Willow. Last week, fair enough, maybe Magnus hasn't got the edge. Fair enough, it was in a match. I just don't understand why Magnus wouldn't want to do this now when he's been doing this to wrestlers for weeks when he was the champion. It makes no fucking sense. He was more than willing to bash people about with anything he could find, send Abyss to annihilate people. Oh, but no, he can't whack Willow over the head with a rebar, even though I guess most of the wrestling world wishes we could do that to Jeff Hardy so he could stop doing this fucking gimmick.
Yeah, I can go with that.
So you can see why I hated this show, why this show was so bad and so nonsensical, and why TNA needs to firmly jam their head out of their arse and think and just breathe and just figure out, okay, let's just do a clean slate.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, what are we doing? Like, really? Why would anyone want to watch this show? Really? And they've done good shows. They've done pretty good shows. I've seen them do good shows when they do wrestling, and there was no wrestling to be had on this show. It was all storylines, and it was all garbage. Absolute fucking garbage. And one of the worst wrestling shows I have seen for a very, very, very long time. So, there you go. I promise now my TNA review is done. Even if I can think of other stuff, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So, I take a deep breath. It's good to vent, isn't it? I don't like watching shows like this because I don't like slamming shows. I really don't. I hate it. You know, Matt, I don't like being negative about shows, especially this negative. But I couldn't do anything else with this show. It was that bad. So let's move on. So Matt, are you going to watch this week's episode of TNA?
No.
Good. Don't because I wouldn't. You may even be curious to see what I'm talking about. Don't watch
I'm
it.
not.
Don't watch it. It's offensive how bad it was. I apologise to TNA fans, and I need to make this disclaimer, and I feel like I do so because some TNA fans can get very, very defensive. Like as I said, I think you've got some bright lights. I really do. I think they've actually got a really good talent pool. I think they've got good wrestlers that can put on great matches, better than WWE can some of the times. But when they don't give them the chance to actually wrestle and they keep putting them in this soap opera bullshit that looks like it should be on days of their lives rather than a wrestling show, then you must understand why we have to criticize it, because it's not fun. It's not entertaining. So, moving on to Raw.
Yep.
We can let Matt talk now because he's obviously seen Raw this week and he can weigh in on the can't weigh in on the TNA stuff, and I envy you for that, Matt. So
You envy me for it.
I envy you for you. So yeah, I'm still gonna watch TNA. I don't think they're gonna pull off every show as bad as this one. It'd be a fucking art form if they could. So
it would actually be impressive.
I would be impressed if they can continue making shows that bad. So
Yeah.
moving on to Raw. Raw was the Memorial Day episode
Yep.
this week. They're back in America, which obviously I guess is fitting, considering it's Memorial Day. Would be a bit odd to have it in England when you're having a Memorial Day. I, for one, I don't know about yourself. I mean, obviously, WWE can sometimes go really overboard with their patriotism, which I don't have a problem with personally. I'm never gonna tell someone off for lauding their troops. We do it here in England. I don't care if you guys do it in America. In fact, I applaud you for doing it. So if you want to do it, although I was expecting a little bit more than a video that looked like it would fit quite well in Bo Dallas's vignettes. Would you agree?
Yeah, that was kind of true.
I thought it was Bo Dallas.
Disappointing.
Yeah, I thought it was Bo Dallas making his debut.
It was Keith David. Keith David was doing the voiceover.
Yeah. For any Mass Effect fans out there, that knows a little bit. In fact, I know I just want to talk about something nice so we can get back into positive stuff, because not everything was bad on Raw, so at least we can talk about good stuff. But I've just started playing Mass Effect again, so yeah, I've got my healthy dose of Keith David, the guy with the liquid, sexy voice. I think that's probably the best thing to say about it. Would you like a voice of Keith? Would you like to have a day with your voice like Keith David?
If I could spend a day as Keith David, yes.
Yeah, I'd do it, hands down. So. I just go and short chat to random women, just with that liquid, sexy voice. He must be swimming in it by now. So, yeah. So Memorial Day episode. I was expecting them to go all out with the patriotism, but nah, they didn't too much. They had a few bits out there, but maybe they do their tribute to the troops. I can never exactly criticize WWE for not doing enough to praise their military forces. So don't take it like that. In fact, they do it very, very well. But I just wanted that in there anyway. The show opens with the Authority.
Yep.
So
and the thing is, it wasn't even the Authority when they were already in the ring. We had to go through their entrance. I was just like, ugh.
Yeah. They were. Yeah, we had to wait, and obviously it's almost reminded me back of the constant weeks before WrestleMania, where these guys would come out every single week. And as you say there, Matt, and I say each week, I'm a big fan of matches starting shows. I don't have a problem if it's a good promo. This was not a good promo to start off the show. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. It didn't really get the crowd going. So, one thing I did make a note about here, basically the promo was about talking about Daniel Bryan, obviously giving up the title later on in the show. And when Steph said about that, she said in the words, Daniel Bryan should surrender his title, the fans started chanting yes.
Yeah, I got really confused by that. I was like, do you just realise what she just said?
Yeah.
Like, he should give it up. Yes! Sure about that?
Yeah.
Yes!
I knew then that we had a general wrestling crowd in. We didn't have a very hardcore base in there. So you can have a lot of Cena lovers and all that in there. Because they just do the chants even if it's not kind of nonsensical. So they got it in the end, I guess, and Stephanie made them pay for it by saying, yes, of course, you're agreeing with me that he should give away the title.
You want him to get rid of it, don't you?
Maybe I'm wrong, Matt. Maybe they listened to our episode that we did where we said that Bryan should give up the title, and maybe they just agreeing with us,
That's it.
That's all they're doing, maybe. Maybe we've got it completely wrong.
18,000 American fans.
Yeah, exactly. Or watching the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, why not? So, yeah, as you said, they dig on Bryan for a little bit. say that his body gave out on him. He's just his body's a B plus, you know, and all that spiel.
The thing is, there was a point at that then. I was just like, you know, and his body just can't do it. It's like I seem to recall Triple H's leg just going on him at one point.
Yeah.
So let's go talking about who has a B plus body, shall we?
Who can't last very long, you know. Maybe that's a little bit of dig at all these people like Dolph Ziggler that got concussions and had plans for them and everything. And I don't know. Maybe I'm looking into it a little bit too much, but maybe Triple H and management weren't happy with the likes of Ziggler and stuff getting injured so early into the race. They just took the belt off them, sort of thing. But
yeah,
maybe I'm looking into it a bit too much. But yeah, so they dug on Bryan a little bit. It wasn't really a segment that much really dedicated to him. It was more about Brad Maddox.
Yes, the firing of Brad Maddox.
Yes. Now, I basically said here that they brought Brad Maddox out of captivity because we haven't seen him for weeks on end. So I didn't even know the guy
It was
was
very much a case of so that's what Brad Maddox looks like. So this is a Maddox.
He's grown 6 months since we saw him.
That's it.
So basically, we learned that he was the one who let the Shield into commentary.
Well, we didn't learn that. We learned that at the end of it.
Yeah. So they basically say that they've left with no choice. Kane comes down and basically annihilates Brad Maddox. Now and then obviously afterwards, they tell him that he's fired. So
Stephanie just doesn't have this sort of "you're fired" as Vince does.
The throaty gurgle with it.
Yeah, I think she tried it before, and it's just like, no, it doesn't work.
But she can still do a more manly "you're fired" than Brock Lesnar can do a scream. So
that's very true.
With that in mind, so yeah. To be honest, why would I care that Maddox got fired? It's not as if he's been asserting his authority the last couple of months.
It's not like we're really behind Maddox as major Maddox fans.
Well, it's not even that. It's not like it's a huge thing. Like he doesn't have any power. It's all been abused. He's the authority's been in charge for about the last 9 months.
Yeah, that's true. But also, it's just like he's so rarely around. You thought he'd have been fired anyway.
Yeah, he's like JTG. Maybe they'll bring JTG and fire. That might probably get him some good heel heat, I guess.
That's it. Like, do you remember this guy?
So yeah, the very uncontrollable Kane seemed very controlled during all this, which obviously we knew anyway. One thing I did.
Do you know the one thing? I think it's actually worse for the Kane character. Like, we had corporate Kane for a while, but to actually have a Kane that comes out to be essentially the attack dog.
That's a force that they couldn't even control. He was too powerful, sort of thing. I get what you mean.
And it's like, really?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Now he is essentially the same character, except now he wears a mask than he was before. So, yeah. One note here, which I think that you'll rather enjoy. His pyro activated a couple of seconds too late.
I noticed that.
Now, a lot of people suffer from this problem. It's called premature pyromaniac syndrome. And don't worry, Kane, it actually happens to a lot of guys, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just go see a doctor, and your explosions should happen when they should. So we'll all give Kane our thoughts on his premature pyromaniacy.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the right word? I don't know. So yeah, it wasn't a great start to the show. Yet it wasn't a horrible start to the show. It was.
Well, the one thing that happened that I completely anticipated, Triple H turned it into me and my match.
Yeah.
Fuck the title. I have a match.
Yeah,
it's like the moment he said the word adapt, I was like, here we go.
Well, in all fairness, I guess in that case, I kind of agree with him to that point because you don't have a WWE World Title match now at the pay-per-view, so that Evolution Shield match is your main event with no.
It's definitely pay-per-view.
So plug it as best as you can, and they've been doing a lot of stuff with Evolution and Shield recently. So, but yeah, it just seems that it's like as you said there. As soon as you started talking about adapting or perishing, we knew where it was going. It was only going on one track after that. So after this segment, there was a Bo Dallas vignette, and it stated that we would see the Raw debut of Dallas on this show. So better start Bo leaving there, Matt. Yeah, his
No,
time is
I
nigh.
refuse.
You're not going to believe, no?
I
I guess
shall not believe.
I've tried a lot, I guess.
I will not be a believer. I
Okay.
will not be a rosebud. Like just anything. It's really painful because obviously I like NXT and I like everything that sort of come from it. But the two most recent things I just can't stand. I hate it so much.
But who do you hate more? That's the real question. Oh,
Ooh.
wow. So, after oh, you can't. So I tell you what, we'll let them simmer on you for a bit because Bo Dallas has just debuted. It's not fair, you know. You need to have a few weeks to decide who you hate more, you know. And then you
Please
can
give it the time.
give it the
Right?
time, yeah, exactly. To come at it from all angles. You can decide then who would you rather want to take in a dark alley and emerge victorious, shall we say? Um,
Okay.
which
No.
sounds a bit wrong, really, when I think of it back. But anyway, moving on. Cesaro and RVD, the first match of the night. Decent match with these guys. We actually were a bit critical of RVD's performance last week. He seemed a bit lost at times, missing a few of his rolling thunders and a few other spots throughout the match. This he was much better. Him and
See, the
Cesaro
thing
much
is,
better.
originally I was like, oh, why are they wrestling? Because in like a storyline sort of thing,
Mm,
they've already done the whole old Heyman guy, new Heyman guy.
yeah,
Not
and they've already wrestled each other within the month as well. So
that's it. But then, as it turns out, like it's actually no, it's a battle. It's just the number one contenders battling it out.
yeah,
And then suddenly it's like,
mm,
oh, well, that makes so much more sense.
yeah. And like I said, I don't. It's a lot easier to take these rematches when the matches are good. It seems like a foreign concept, I know. You know, if a match is good, we don't mind watching it. Seems very odd. But yeah, the so if a match is good, I don't mind watching a rematch. Often, more often than not, a rematch is what we've seen beforehand. This match wasn't so much of that. So,
Oh no, that's all.
Bad News Barrett came out on commentary, of which we know he's always awesome on commentary anyway.
I will accept that. Yep.
He distracts RVD anyway throughout the match, gets a kick for his troubles, but then Cesaro gets the win with his German suplex. And that's the second week in a row he's actually used that move to get a win.
The
So,
German bridge pin, yeah.
which we could be seeing maybe another signature move in his move list, which is already pretty good. You look at his moves that he's got, the
Oh yeah,
the uppercuts, the obviously the
the swing. But he hasn't done this. What was originally just like, oh, the king of swing, and it's like, and now I don't remember the last time I actually saw him do the swing.
yeah. I mean, you can't do it each week, I guess. You know, I like the idea of him pulling out on pay-per-view matches personally,
Yeah.
but yeah, I do like the idea of him adding more moves that fans could think, okay, he can beat someone with this move. It's going to lead to better matches. I don't like it when wrestlers have one finisher move and that's the only move they use to finish it with because,
Oh yeah.
you know, unless it's a good finisher like the RKO, in which case you can land it from so many different angles. It's almost like different finishers, but
Oh yeah.
um, but you know, I don't mind. I like it when wrestlers do this sometimes, and they have different moves that beat different people. And it just seems to me, you know, if you win with the same move twice in a row, then it's more likely going to be something he uses more and more. After the match, anyway, Sheamus comes out and lays out Cesaro. Very heel of him. Coming
Yeah.
out fighting someone after the match. That's what I was only thinking. All Cesaro really did last week was refuse to shake his hand. He didn't smack him or anything like that. So,
Oh no, that's it. But no,
mm,
down comes Sheamus. Oh, you insulted me.
it's in the words of Ron Burgundy, that escalated very quickly
Yeah.
into a title match, no less. So, yeah, so we are actually getting a US title match at pay-per-view, kind of randomly. They did the beat the clock challenge to name the contender for the IC title, but it just seems like it doesn't matter for the US anyway. Or maybe they've only just come up with this storyline recently to fill the gap, but regardless.
Yeah.
Sheamus is suffering from pretty much a lack of direction. That's my opinion anyway. Much of his career has suffered really from not having a clear 6-month path of where he should be going. And it seems like they obviously put the belt on him, but they don't really have any plans to put the belt on him or any long-standing rivalry. I don't see this rivalry with Cesaro having much traction. Maybe a couple of months, and that's about it.
Yeah, I don't see it sticking around either.
Mm.
Which is kind of a shame because I'm quite enjoying watching their matches.
What's Cesaro, Sheamus? Yeah, I think they may have a really good match at the pay-per-view.
Much because I'm quite enjoying just like the sheer, almost brutality of their matches.
The physicality of it all.
Yeah,
it's,
definitely.
very enjoyable. They've had a few good matches already, and obviously at pay-per-view you'd expect them to go all out for the belt. So that should be interesting anyway. But as I said, it just seems like Sheamus just flitters in between places. He's not really part of anything. And he had this before he got injured. You thought maybe him coming back they'd have more for him, but they don't. They just kind of, okay, we'll put Sheamus here, we'll put Sheamus there, and he's just floating around the place. And while I think he's in a better position to do that than the likes of other people on the roster, because they could be off TV for weeks on end after not being on anything. It's still not going to do anything for his long-term career. You know what I mean? This isn't stuff that you look on your CV and go, oh, okay, he was in a rivalry with Cesaro here, and that was monumental. It's not going to be the same. So, yeah, Sheamus is in the same place that he's been for years, unfortunately, which is just nowhere. There's no plan really for him going forward, and it stinks of that as well, like what he's involved in now. So, now, my wife, who watched this with me, she says that Sheamus should be paired in a dominant tag team. She wanted me to put this on here anyway, just to say that was her idea.
Okay.
This is where I get in trouble and say that I disagree. I don't think he needs to be in a tag team, but that's what's your thoughts on that anyway? Do you think? I mean,
No.
Yeah, I think that. Personally, if he was put in a tag team, yeah, he might be involved in the storyline for a couple of months, but then he'd be back exactly where he was before, and then he will have to go through the whole process of rivaling with his tag team partner. So I think it's a backward step for him. It's not the right way to go. Moving on to a large section of the middle of this show, which unfortunately was just as bad as what TNA gave us earlier on in the week, and it started with Summer Rae against Eva Marie. Now, when I saw this match, did you not catch this match?
No.
You didn't actually see this match?
No.
Wow. Whew.
I don't remember this match.
Okay, well I'll explain it to you then. I was worried when I saw this match and I saw the result of it, of you freaking out, because I would. But
I want to freak out without even seeing it.
So
I never saw this match.
Yeah, maybe it was cut from wherever you watched it, but yeah, it happened. Now, I'll explain it to you there, Matt, so you can get the full sort of idea of what happened here. I'll let you guess.
The last thing I got, straight after that, I had Drew McIntyre versus Torito.
Oh, okay. Well, no, this happened. I'm going to let you guess, though. I'm going to let you guess, Matt.
I don't want to.
Was this a good match? Was this a good match, Matt? It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. No. Eva Marie tried to wrestle.
Okay, so you're correct there. It wasn't a good match. Was it a horrendous match?
I'm guessing yes.
You are absolutely correct. You're 2 for 2. Who won the match?
Please don't tell me Eva Marie.
Oh, and you're correct again.
Oh.
So, right. Obviously, the reason they put Eva Marie on this is because she recently got voted in the Maxim 100 Women of the Year, which they do every now and then. Good for her. I don't see the appeal myself, but each to their own. I can see why people would think that she's attractive. So fair enough. That's what she's there to be. She ain't there to wrestle. I can goddamn tell you that.
Not there for talent.
Yeah. So this match, it wasn't good, as you can imagine. Eva Marie still doesn't really know how to sell, even though she kind of has stopped herself from getting up, even though she got hit a second later. At least she's staying down this time, but I don't know why I'm praising that. No, it's just garbage. It's basically what happens, as you can imagine. Fandango comes out, gives the distraction to Summer Rae, who looks like she's going to cry for some reason at these two guys kissing on the stage, and then Eva Marie rolls her up with the most devastating finisher in wrestling, the roll-up pin.
Yep.
And gets the win. So, there you are. Now, this is a bit odd. I'm going to explain more. During this match, I mean, Summer Rae's coming out like a face, you know what I mean? A lot of people like Summer Rae. She's coming off of like a heel faction, coming off as like this ex-girlfriend, which is quite a face gimmick, if I can think of it.
You feel bad for them. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then you've got Eva Marie, who's acting like a heel, which fair enough. People don't like her, so fair enough, be a heel. The problem is she's got Nikki Bella in her corner. So, odd.
Yeah, so then you
Nonetheless.
kind of got like a heel being managed by a face in
Yeah.
a really awkward...
Weird way, yeah. Now, I think there's space for Eva Marie. She could be someone's manager. She could be someone's eye candy. She could be the girlfriend of a wrestler that's involved in storylines. That's fine. She shouldn't be in the ring. She's not good enough. She hasn't spent enough time practicing in the ring. You can tell that she hasn't taken enough bumps. She's too scared to get messed up in the ring. You could tell. It's almost like she's afraid to mess up her hair in the ring. That's how bad it is. She doesn't like being in the ring. You can tell. She doesn't want to be there. It's just part of her job. It's part of being famous. It's a quick track of her being out on TV each week. And being on Total Divas, of course. It's just something that she has to do in order to be on Total Divas each week. She has to be in the ring every now and then. So I don't know why you would force her to be in the ring if she obviously doesn't have any respect for it, which she doesn't. She doesn't want to be a good wrestler, and if she is so green that it comes out to not only me and you, but it also comes out to general wrestling fans as well who've picked up on it, then why show that to your crowd? Why put that in your product? That's what I would say. Like I said, I don't want to dig on her too much because you could do something with her. She can be involved in storylines. She could be the eye candy. She can do stuff for the company, but I just don't know why you'd put her.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest, the Funkadactyls when they first started out, and when they first started on Total Divas, they weren't even wrestling. They were just the Funkadactyls who came in and danced.
Yeah. And then you found out one of them could wrestle and the other one couldn't. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. WWE just needs to realise that if they put a bad wrestler in the ring, you're going to get a bad match. That's the only way to go about it. So, now they obviously didn't have a lot of time in this match, so maybe they thought it wouldn't matter, but it stank. That's the only thing I can say about it. So,
yeah, fair enough.
So, you were spared from that, Matt. I know there's one segment later on that you weren't spared from, so we'll go into that in a second. Backstage, the Brotherhood were looking for Triple H. I'm guessing you missed this as well.
I did.
Yeah.
When they were mentioning a previous segment, I thought it was just the pre-show.
No, this is actually on the show as far as I could see anyway. So basically, it's not really much that you miss anyway, except for the fact that basically Brotherhood are looking for Triple H, but they bump into Orton and Batista. Triple H comes into frame and he looks exhausted and he's got his tile dishevelled. And the only thing I could think of, maybe because I'm a dirty bastard, is that he's just finished having sex. That's what I thought anyway.
I'd play that card.
I just thought he looks exhausted, he looks panting, and he's trying to do up his clothes. That's what it looked like to me. And either he's got the best blowjob in the world, or that's all I can think of. He sets up a match with them for later, and Brotherhood against Orton and Batista is actually a match that I could get into because if you look at the matches that Orton had with Goldust and Cody last year, I would like more of that. That was good matches. So, if they had more of that in the match later on, then that could be something. I normally when they announce these matches, it's garbage, but I saw the potential there with this.
Yeah.
And as we said, Batista he's been improving. He's been getting better.
He's not sucking air as much.
Yeah. Every week that goes in, which, like I said, is a shame because he's going to be going again soon. So. Now we move into muddy waters.
Muddy waters? Jesus Christ.
Acidic waters, shall we say.
Shitty waters.
Drew McIntyre against El Torito. Oh dear God. Where do I begin? Matt, why don't you explain? Because I've already had enough ranting this episode. And I don't like to rant that much, so take it away.
I think the only opening thing I could just suggest with this match is what the fuck? Why? And it was such a pathetic thing, and I honestly, I want to rant, and I really want to. I can't. I've got so much things just going on in my head, and all I can think of.
You don't even know where to start.
Essentially. Drew McIntyre, the person who, when he originally came, was straight away IC champion, like Vince McMahon.
The chosen one.
You are the That's it. The chosen one. The one that I can see going off and being the next big thing. And now he's wrestling a midget dressed as a bull.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even, I say wrestling, it was just like quick, sneaky reversals. And it's just like, what the hell? And it's like the finish. What the hell was the finish?
Yeah.
Like, that was just like a little bit of a distraction, and then it's, just,
Just to explain it to people that may not have watched it this week, basically, the match is as you would expect it to be. It's meant to be a comedy match, with Drew looking like the obviously the guy's just going to squash El Torito, and basically Drew's on the turnbuckle.
The one who's El Torito's gonna get bullied.
Yo!
Fuck off, King.
Yeah. Go clap, because... Anyway, Drew basically is on the turnbuckle with Torito. Then I think Los Matadores get involved, don't they? And they stop him, which, quite a heel thing to do again, interfering in a match. And basically, Drew falls onto the turnbuckle and then sells it as if he got Sweet Cheap Music by HBK.
Yeah, essentially.
The guy looked like he was out from falling onto it. From what is essentially a snake eyes, which gets done to all of Undertaker's opponents. And he big boots them and pins them, and they always kick out.
Yeah.
So, apparently, that fall was so devastating that you could have counted to 5 and Drew McIntyre would still be down. So, yeah. So, if this match wasn't ridiculous enough, the fact that the finish of it was just bullshit as well. Get it? I know there's someone out there trying to figure out why there's a pun in there. You know what I just said?
I don't understand. But it's just, and then it all breaks down into just like a scrap, and oh no, they pulled off El Torito's tail, and he's running around the ring like.
And JBL, by the way, is selling this. He's going absolutely ape shit. He's going bonkers.
What was it? Do you remember when JTG? I think it was JTG, or it was MVP, one of the two. But they were in an Inferno match with Kane.
Yeah.
And all JBL could talk about for the rest of the night is like, I don't care, I just saw a man get set on fire.
Yeah.
It was like that.
It was MVP. That was right. He was talking about this happening. Imagine this little tail that's on this guy's suit, on this guy's costume, in the same length of that Inferno match. And he was completely serious about it, talking about it as if this was the most catastrophic thing that had ever happened in his entire life.
Some stitching came undone, but this is horrific and terrible.
I thought we were beyond this here, and he was just going mental. He was blowing a gasket out of this happening. That Hornswoggle would do this. Can we just get this finished with by now? They're going to have a hair versus mask match at the pay-per-view.
I didn't see that until about half an hour ago.
It's enough.
It almost brought a tear to my eye. And now, after seeing that, and then after hearing you mention that there was an Eva Marie Summer Rae match, I don't think I can handle it anymore.
Yeah, it's just a bit too much, isn't it? Really?
If I have to bear witness to one more piece of shit, then that may actually I might just write the whole day off.
We'll just do a next episode. And you're not even here. You're just
it. Just I give up.
Just taking the as you're taking the CM Punk away from the podcast.
Yeah,
that's
taking
too much.
Punk sabbatical.
So maybe it was good that you didn't see the Eva Marie match then. So, right. So
I'd have blown a gasket like JBL.
Let's talk about this honestly. We have been very honest about this whole entire match and what we think about it. Let's be honest here and talk about the real failed potential of Drew McIntyre. I know it makes you quite sad, but we have to talk about it. When a lot of people like to point to Ziggler about failed potential on the show, but you don't have to look much further to get your next big exhibition of failed potential than Drew McIntyre. That guy is a phenomenal wrestler if he's given the chance. He really is good. And the matches that he's had with the likes of Wade Barrett before he came to WWE are fantastic. You can YouTube them and find them. Even the matches that he had when he was under that Chosen One gimmick was still very, very good. Yeah. And now he's stuck in this. He's not going to get out of it. WWE don't give a shit about Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre and people like Sandow. They are people that they thought had a chance once. They're chosen part of the meal for 1 month, and now they don't want to deal with them. Just put them over there, put them in that comedy segment, put them in a match here every now and then. They're not part of our plans. They're not good enough when they are good enough. That's the problem, with WWE's booking of them. And it frustrates people like us when we can see people that are working really hard. Drew McIntyre, when he goes out there, is that 3MB character through and through because he's trying his fucking hardest. For a character
He's the one that gets. He's the one that just does it so well.
Yeah, he's like 100% trying to be that character.
He is 100% rock star. Like even like Heath Slater, the guy who started the one man band sort of thing, sort of just like isn't as into it as Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
And then you got Jinder Mahal, and less said about him the better.
Yeah, he's the funny one, of course. So
really.
Do you remember that promo they did when it first came out? I thought that was quite funny actually with 3MB. When he said, "Oh, I am the funny one," and just looks into the camera. I thought that was quite funny.
Just complete dead face.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, it saddens us when we look at Drew McIntyre being in this situation. Just sad. Moving on. When all hope is lost.
No. When all hope is lost, what do we get? We get our hopes slashed some more because we get back. And what do we have? We have the Los Matadores and the fucking Doctor complaining and shouting and screaming about how he's lost his tail. And then, I don't know whether this is really PG, one of them sticks his thumb up El Torito's ass.
Just to check, what's going on.
It's like, I'll do it, and just jabs him in the arse.
I don't know. Horrendous. So anyway, let's get you into all this. Think about it like a movie. When all hope is lost, when you've seen shit TNA shows for the week, when you've seen wasted potential like Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, when you're about to see the likes of Damien Sandow be made fun of each and every single week, when you are sick and tired of watching Eva Marie no sell in the ring and have horrible matches, and sick and tired of watching matches that end in 3 minutes and all this other stuff, and then we get our saviour.
We get gold. We
get Bray Wyatt. Without Bray Wyatt and the Shield, I don't know if I would still be watching. I'll be honest with you.
Do you know what? It's terrifying to say, but I could almost agree with you.
Yeah. Without those two guys, I don't even want to know. You take Bryan, you take Shield out, you take Wyatt family out. Where is Raw? Where is it? Nowhere. It's garbage.
Flapping around in comedy sections.
Yeah. And they may as well have El Torito as their world champion. Why not? That seemed the way they were going to go. But obviously those guys are in the company. There are reasons to watch it. These guys are fantastic to watch. And when you get all that garbage, it's sort of like it's so contrasting when you get that and you get what is another fantastic.
It's like a real chalk and cheese moment, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was almost thinking to myself, this is like TNA. I should just stop watching this and come back to it at a later date when I can deal with it. And then you hear the entrance music and you know something good is coming. So Bray Wyatt comes out. And he cuts a fairly similar promo to what he was doing last week. A few main changes that he was pointing the finger at the announcers for spreading the lies about John Cena, about being on his side all this time. He singled out King as the main guy of all this. Now, it does remind me when he was saying this about a lot of the stuff a lot of the BS that comes out of King's mouth, when these loud CM Punk chants are going on. He's like, "Oh, the crowd are really into this match," and stuff like this. It's like, no, you obviously can't hear what they're chanting. Yeah. He does this a lot, so it kind of reminded me of that. I know that's what he wasn't getting into, but yeah, the amount of times that King has just come out with such garbage, even though that's not correct. Normally it's to do with crowd chants. So he sits him into the ring and tells him that he's basically going to kick the shit out of him.
Long and short of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And how does it feel to be a liar? And
yeah.
I'm sorry that it has to come to this, but this is how it has to be.
Yeah. Cena and Usos come out for the save. And obviously this is after JBL tried to save him and gets laid out. But I'm guessing JBL was so exhausted from, freaking out over El Torito's tail getting taken out, so didn't have much on him there.
It might not have been planned. It might just been like JBL, just like, I need to get out of the back. Just Harper, clothesline.
I need to check if El Torito's fine. Clothesline me so I can get to the back.
That's it.
God, I don't even want to think about it. Right. So yeah, it was getting very interesting, this segment, when obviously Cena came out, but I can't dig on the guy. You have to have the face to come out and save the good guy. It's just wrestling 101, and I have no problem with it. I think it's fine. I think the reason why this rivalry though has lasted the length that it has is because of Bryatt's promos. Bryant,
We can go with Bryant.
it's a mix of his name. Bray Wyatt, his promos. I think that's the reason why it's managed to last as long. And personally, I'm not totally against their match at this weekend. So,
Oh no, I'm sold on it.
Yeah, because of Bray Wyatt, Cena's not done much. He's kind of let Wyatt do his thing, and I think that's probably the best.
Cena's done Cena promos, but Wyatt's given us, Wyatt promos.
Promo of the week in, week out. That's pretty much the only thing I can say. So yeah, the show actually turned a corner at this, and I actually started enjoying the show a lot more after this. Seemed like the catalyst to end all the crap and give us some good stuff, including a Zack Ryder squash match.
Literally, the moment I saw him come out with the flag, I was like, "Oh, Rusev."
I was waiting for Putin's face to appear on the screen.
That's it. Just like, where's the legs? Bring on the legs.
Bring on those legs. Yeah. Rusev comes out and finishes Ryder off quicker than he could probably eat a strong Russian turnip. That's probably the best way to put it. Yeah, it probably takes Rusev longer to eat his dinner than to beat Ryder in the ring. It was literally, I hit you, I put you the accolade in, you're done. If Rusev hadn't taken so long actually applying the accolade, then it could have been over in less than 10 seconds. So there you are. That's
it would have literally just been a case of ding ding ding.
Ding ding ding. Yeah. They should have just done that anyway. There's no chance that Ryder was ever going to get a win against Rusev.
Oh.
One plus about this though, everyone knows on this podcast we listen to, I quite like Lana. I think she's quite attractive girl. No secret to that. Yeah. One plus is that my wife agreed that Lana is also crazy good looking, and I'm quite happy that I have a wife that can appreciate the womanly form as I do. So you can all be jealous that I have someone I can spot someone out as good looking, and I don't get anything bad about it. So
don't get hit for it.
Yeah, exactly. Big E came out to clear out the ring. This the usual Rusev stuff. Obviously, Rusev's going to mow over Big E and just continue for a couple of months until he really comes. I mean, Big E technically should be a legitimate competitor for him, but Big E's on the decline. Rusev's on the rise, so we know.
I kind of hope that we can get a good match out of the pair of them.
Yeah, I think you get a good match out of Big E and Rusev. I think you could. And I think Rusev can go for a long match. I think he's capable of that. So.
I'm kind of shocked that we don't actually have that currently laid out for Payback.
What, Rusev against Big E? Yeah, that was a bit odd, wasn't it? There was this and another match.
There's only 5 matches currently listed, so I'm guessing something's.
Yeah, I think these. In the predictions, what I'd say is that we're going to predict this match anyway because it's more likely going to be added to the show. That show is very thin as it is. Next match, Brotherhood against Evolution. For as long as it wasn't a very long match, this one, but it was a good one. I
enjoyed it.
And as I said earlier,
until it turned into bullshit.
Yeah, basically, like I said, really good match. This backwards and forwards, good hot tagging.
The disaster kick RKO was awesome.
Yeah, that was a dirty little RKO to, which, as we thought, finished the match. But no, Cody, after it was pinned, it was revealed that it was an elimination match, which led to essentially a handicap squash of Goldust to get the win. He had no offense throughout the entire. Well, he reversed a DDT and then got speared by Batista, so you can't really count that as offense, really. It did make me wonder for the actual Shield and Evolution match that these guys are going to have at the weekend. What's the point of having it as a no-holds-barred elimination match? What is to stop the people that get eliminated from still wrestling? It just means they can't make pins.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, so I mean, if it's elimination,
that's almost like that's kind of like my theory with the Wyatts match. It's like with Wyatt Cena.
Yeah,
it's like it's last man standing. Cool. Do you know what last man standing means? No disqualification.
Yeah.
So the Wyatt family can get involved. It's a 1-on-3 match.
Yeah. Well, I think that probably will happen. The Usos aren't booked for the show, so I think they may
turn up, and it'll end up just being a 6-man match.
Which I don't have a problem with personally. I think that'd be fine. Can you imagine?
Turns into war.
A tornado last man standing match, but I know it's obviously between Bray and Cena, but having almost like a 6-man tag, as you say, but with weapons and all this other stuff because there's no DQ. Could be quite.
Don't.
I'm getting your hopes up now. Aren't I?
I'm feeling a lap twitch already.
Yeah.
But if we don't, it sounds like gold. It sounds like you and me, like late in the evening, just playing WWE games.
Just coming up with the best situation for it.
Is it just going to go crazy? Yeah, we'll just go crazy.
Yeah, no DQ. Just get your chairs out, batter people. So yeah. The match itself was good, and I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was pretty good. In comparison to a lot of the garbage that we had earlier on, I was welcome to have a match of good quality, and everyone did their job in this match. It was fine. It was good.
Yep.
Bo Dallas made his Raw debut. JBL was back. I think he maybe took too much of a bigger hit to the head as he compared Winston Churchill and Bo Dallas together.
Yes, and also compared that Bo Dallas was like one of the most charismatic people ever. Dude, have you not seen his brother?
He will eat you, yeah.
That's it. The Eater of Worlds. I'm pretty sure he is more charismatic.
I thought this match, it was alright. It was good. It was short as a lot of the matches were, but it was clean. It was no bad bumps. It was good. Of what was that?
I have one problem, and I completely forgot about it whilst watching him in NXT.
Yeah.
Maybe because I just accept it on NXT, but on a proper like WWE level. Now, as much as you want to paint it up with some funny like running on the ropes and all things like that, at the end of the day, Bo Dallas's finisher is a bulldog.
It's the Stratusfaction bulldog. It's Trish Stratus's finisher.
Yeah, I know. But...
Which I still haven't got in my mind. But I guess it's long enough after Trish Stratus for him to be doing that. I guess.
Yeah.
The Bodog, as it's it's so aptly named. So. Yeah, as I said, it was a good match between these guys. They have some chemistry in the ring, these guys. So maybe a longer match between these two could go well. But they've already wrestled each other 3 times now. So. So Bo cuts a promo after the match, saying that if you believe, with enough effort, you're still a winner. And he hugs Sin Cara. What a sportsman! What can I say? I'm starting to believe myself. This guy could be something fresh. You know.
I've come to the conclusion that even if he loses, like before he cut the promo, it already dawned on me, and then he cut the promo, and I was like, oh my god, I was right. Even if he loses, he's still going to annoy me. He's like, that's okay. I don't mind if I lost because I believed in myself. I was just like,
it's going to take
everything.
It's going to take a little bit of time for general wrestling fans to feel the way that Matt feels about this. But when they do, he's going to get that reaction from everyone, and that's exactly what he's looking for.
I know.
I honestly think that this gimmick is going to get really fun. I think so.
It can lead for some interesting promos, I will admit.
Yeah, I mean, believe me, it's going to get good. Really.
I'll tell you what. So. You know what? I've made my decision.
Okay.
Of the two, I favour Bo Dallas.
Wow.
Wow.
Absolutely. You know, if I ever make an intro just our things, I'm going to make that a snippet one of your things now.
That's fine.
Oh well. So.
Yeah, but to be perfectly honest, all he's now got is the winner of the one I hate the least.
Yeah.
So
award.
it's not much of a...
In the LTW awards, he's got the best of the bad bunch award, shall we say? Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that Bo Dallas is going to get a whole ton of heat. It's just going to take a bit of time. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to him getting a lot of heat. Actually, Steph comes down to the ring. She orders Daniel Bryan to hand over both of the belts. Which obviously said last week. Bryan comes out as well. I tell you what, the guy still gets a good pop even though he's been injured. Of
course the guy's going to get a good pop.
Yeah. I never should have
You say like you doubted it.
Nah. I knew you would. I no, obviously you wonder. You know what I mean? I just thought that, especially with this crowd being a general wrestling crowd, they still gave him... I mean, that's a good thing about Bryan. General wrestling fans and hardcore wrestling fans both give him the same response. You know, they're the same amount of respect. Oh, yeah. And I tell you what, though, for him coming out, I know he had the bracelet and everything, but he was moving pretty well for a guy who just had neck surgery. So.
Oh yeah, they must have like checked him out, and it's still pretty mobile.
Yeah, I mean,
it was quite non-invasive, so.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, that to me is a pretty good indication that maybe the surgery went a lot better than they expected. So maybe he could be back earlier than we thought, which is maybe the main reason why they have chosen to keep the title on him and they're keeping this storyline going forward.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we'll find out at Payback.
Yeah, we will. Because Brian told her an emphatic no. He said he's not going to give up the titles. He would undo everything that he's done. Me and Matt have said before that we think he should vacate the titles, but obviously under his own terms as a face. So if he's going to be back earlier than the initial thought, then I'm all for him keeping the title.
The promo kind of sort of switched my mindset, to be fair. Like, it was a very convincing promo.
Well, it depends on the time frame, isn't it? We don't know how long he's going to be out for. If he's going to be out for 3 months, he should be stripped of the title now and everything. If he's going to be out for a month or maybe 6 weeks, I'm fine with him keeping the belt. I really am.
Yeah.
But it's all about that time frame. We just don't know, and we'll only know until after this is all finished. And obviously, we can make our assumptions then. We said that when he should be stripped of the belt, on that episode, which a lot of people took quite well actually. If he's going to be stripped of the belt, like I said, it's all down to that time frame. If he's going to be out for a month and you strip him of the belt, that's the wrong thing to do. But if he's going to be out for 3-4 months, then you have to strip him of the belt. But
yeah,
it looks like this...
I guess we'll find out because obviously it got to a stage where Stephanie made it interesting.
She did. She basically dragged out another week until the pay-per-view, which I guess is fine. You know, people want to know what's going on with this, except they kind of keep guaranteeing that they're going to tell people what's going to happen with the belt and then postponing it a week, so people are going to be a little bit like, ugh. But basically, she says that if Brian refuses to give up the belts, she's going to fire his wife, Brie Bella, for putting her hands on her. And that is essentially...
I knew that. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that before. I was like, this is going to come back to bite her in the ass.
Yeah. And as we said before, this injury is not going to stop Brie Bella being involved in Daniel Bryan's storylines. She's going to be heavily involved going forward. Anything that he does going forward in the future. So, and this is probably the biggest indication of that we've ever seen. You know, even though he's injured, she's still being referenced. So. Interesting nonetheless. Obviously, Brian did say throughout this promo that Kane did seem very controlled earlier on in the night. There is going to be some sort of thing that happens with the Authority when a higher power, maybe Vince comes back and says, you know, obviously you were
maybe there is no higher power than the Authority.
Yeah,
Vince.
Maybe where he comes back and says, you know, you've been sending Kane to go and basically scare the shit out of innocent women and beating up people, and now I'm taking back what's mine, sort of thing. There's got to be a point where the Authority loses control. So that's obviously... I don't think it's going to be for a very long time, but there will be a point when that happens, and obviously they can go back to all this blatant abuse of power. So that's fine. So next we had Emma and Alicia Fox in a match against each other. Alicia Fox now, as we said, she beat Paige last week, so she is the number one contender. They are having a match at the pay-per-view for the belts.
Yep.
So it's very odd then that she would lose this match to Emma. Now, I'm not disagreeing. I like Emma. In fact, she needs matches. She needs wins on her own away from Santino, which is exactly what this was. But it seems a bit odd that you would have your number one contender lose the match before the pay-per-view, to me.
Well, the thing is, though, she lost to Paige. And then she had another match against Paige last week, and then she won.
Yeah.
So whether she's doing a sort of like winning and losing sort of rotation,
I don't know. I don't like it personally.
I don't like it. Well, to be fair, having Alicia Fox in the title hunt, I don't like.
Well, it could be worse. You could have Eva Marie in there.
But we could.
Fox.
But, you know, if there's one thing about Alicia Fox I'm currently hating, it's like, you know, she did. So at the end of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia Fox won.
Yeah, she got the most screen time.
Alicia Fox didn't win. Well, yeah. She kind of won, like Emma got the win, the pinfall, but Alicia Fox
but all the spotlight
was the last one standing.
Yeah. She was all the time in this whole segment was given to her and not to Emma. So I get what you mean. Fox had one of her trademark freakouts after this match anyway. This was a little bit more entertaining than what she did before, I have to admit, where she was just stealing random hats and kind of just dancing around the ring. She proceeded to bang the ring bell and shout out that she wasn't a loser. She then gave someone a wedgie, and a fucking hectic wedgie at that.
She probably split that guy.
She obviously probably gave birth to a lot of young boys' libidos by splashing soda all over her tits. And then decided to give the guy that she just wedgied a little kiss to say sorry. So,
Yeah. But you know the one thing I actually hated? I mean, it was after before that whole thing, like when she was actually attacking Emma. What the hell is this gut wrench suplex thing that she just doesn't do very well?
the backbreaker that she seems to be addicted to in the ring. Yeah, it seems like
it wasn't even a backbreaker. No, not even the backbreaker. She did like this some sort of bullshit botched up like gut wrench suplex, and it's just like you can't. Like, I'm pretty sure like Emma landed on her as a result of this move. And it's like, just don't do it.
Yeah,
you'll hurt yourself.
It did look like it looked like she was either going to blow out her knee because she was trying. I think she was trying to go for the backbreaker. She's done that move before, but obviously missed the chance and ended up being exactly what you said it was. So she's either going to blow out her knee or she's going to hurt someone when she does that. I don't expect Fox isn't as bad as I think a lot of people give her credit for. She can do a good match. And at least what she's doing now is at least
she's one of the Funkadactyl's favourites.
Oh yeah, everyone remembers her match with Melina. So she's got match of the year quality.
I completely forgot she ever wrestled Melina. I thought Melina was gone by that point.
Yeah. So we to an extent she can pull off a good match, and I still think that she can be a decent enough heel for Paige to go against, at least for now. But I mean, if she's doing this sort of stuff, at least it's interesting to see how bonkers she's going to go each week. So I don't have that much of a problem with it really. And like I said, just she'd have to do more bonkers stuff each week. If she keeps doing the same thing each week, I'll get bored of it. She's gonna have to top herself.
At least she didn't have to pass off the opportunity of a beer this time round.
Yeah,
because they actually had cans of drink on hand,
ready for the freak out.
Yeah.
Doing her best Austin impression, as we said, and as I said, giving birth to a few boys' libidos. Because I don't know if she was expecting that to happen, but it was the proverbial shower scene, shall we say, for a few of the boys out there. Anyway, Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio wrestled next. This would be the last match of the night. I thought this could be a good match. It was not great. It was alright. Sorry, no, I've missed a match. Sorry, let's go back. Sorry, Sandow came out. I was trying to not go through this. Sandow came out. Sorry, it wasn't Damien Sandow. Of course, it was Davy Crockett. Of course, it was. You know,
it was Damien Crockett.
Damien Crockett. That's what it was.
Davy Sandow.
Davy Sandow.
Or just another great potential just stuck in the toilet.
That's it. Just falling and never coming back. He at least he is the first person to ever wrestle Adam Rose. So on Raw anyway. It seems a bit odd that they, like I said, this is another match that we thought it was going to be Rose and Swagger, and Rose would be having his debut at the pay-per-view. Bit odd they haven't announced that. I still expect the match to go forward though, so I still think that'll be on there. So yeah, the match wasn't really much until Swagger came down to do the distraction. Even with the distraction, Rose still beat Sandow. So
the distraction proved no purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Sandow still got dicked. Then obviously Swagger's coming around. He's taunting the lemon of Rose, and this drives Rose over the edge. No one touches his fucking lemon, so he basically beats the shit out. Yeah, he beats up Swagger and throws him out the ring, and tells him in no other ways that no one dare touches his lemon. So
there's one thing I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I can only assume that was we now bear witness to Adam Rose's finisher.
Yeah, that is his finisher, and I know he was like.
Doesn't Dean Ambrose do that?
He does it from a DDT, like inverted DDT position. So, and like Rose does it from what looks like a stunner, but it's essentially the same move. I know exactly what you're thinking. Yeah.
And he goes in this like frantic little style.
Yeah.
Like Dean Ambrose. He's just like a big puffy Ambrose.
Whereas with Ambrose, obviously, he comes over as his gimmick. But like I said, he pushed him too far. He touched his lemon, Matt. Okay, the guy was obviously incensed with rage.
Sounds like some sort of terrible sexual innuendo.
He touched his lemon.
Want to come touch my lemon?
So here's my question for you, Matt. I've got a question. I asked you last week: are you a lemon? Are you a rosebud? And everyone was interested. And obviously, you chose to be a lemon. Will you be Adam Rose's lemon on the Exotic Express? Because you are a lemon, so...
But I won't be his lemon.
Oh, okay. Any
No.
reason why you won't be Adam Rose's lemon?
There are a lot of women on the Exotic Express.
Maybe you've got an eye on the bunny. You don't know if a bunny's a girl or a woman or not, do you? Guy or girl?
Who is beneath the bunny?
And the bunny's got some good moves, so there is always that.
I will still be a lemon.
You're going to be your own lemon in your own
I'll
lemon
be my
world.
own lemon.
That's it. Okay, so
Own
we've,
pack.
we've answered the question, guys. Sorry. The lemon could keep his job. Matt's not taking it. He's staying on LTW, which was weird because I thought I was going to have a pretty good interview with the lemon next week. So moving on to the match that I was talking about, Sheamus against Del Rio. As I said, this match was a bit meh. The actual sound of when Del Rio comes to the ring, which is nothing. The crowd don't give him anything. Is exactly the description of his entire career in WWE. The reason why he's not one of the big stars that they have at the moment is not because they don't have any plans for him. Is because no one gives a shit about him.
They took Rodriguez away from him,
and then there was nothing left. Rodriguez was one of the most over parts of that whole thing, and they took him away, and there was nothing. Even when he was a heel, Rodriguez was part of one of the big things of that.
That's it.
During this match, Sheamus sold what looked like a concussion angle, but he won the match regardless. Heyman came and distracted Sheamus long enough for Cesaro to kick him in the head. And to be honest, I mean, Sheamus was kind of asking for it. He came out earlier on in the night and he attacked Cesaro for no reason. Of course Cesaro's going to come out and attack him now. I mean, Sheamus was the guy who did it first. I don't blame Cesaro for doing it. If someone attacked me for pretty much no reason, Barry gave me a bro kick, I'll kick the shit out of him if I wanted to. So,
to be fair, it's almost like Cesaro's going out from the face way.
He's getting the revenge on him, yeah.
That's it, and it's the revenge hit. And that's not heel.
Yeah.
Not so, well, still heel to sneak up and hit someone, but
yeah,
as a retaliation sort of thing, it's not.
Yeah. Oh, I get you. Yeah. If you did this with like Cena and Wyatt, and Cena was in Cesaro's position, people would be saying, "Oh, he's getting his own back," because Wyatt attacked him earlier on the show. So it's just a little bit odd. But one thing I will say about this whole kind of interaction between the two, yeah, we are kind of slamming it a bit, but it does give their really rushed rivalry a little bit of meat on its bones. So I've got no problem with it. At least it's something a little bit they can air before the match starts, and these two guys will have a decent match at the pay-per-view, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, definitely.
Contract signing segment between the Shield and Evolution, which was the finale, the last segment on the Go Home show for Payback. They basically cleared the ring of all the chairs and tables, and to be honest, they're quite right. When they were saying stuff like, it seems a bit weird to have a gentle contract signing considering all the beatings that happened. I kind of agree with them. It would be a bit silly.
Yeah, entirely. And to be perfectly honest, it's like the moment sort of Reigns started throwing everything out of the ring, it was just sort of like, cool, it's not going to be needed.
Yeah.
It's never needed.
Yeah.
A contract signing always results in a fight.
Yeah, always. It's Wrestling 101. If you're ever going to... I wonder what it's like with Jim Ross signing all those contracts. He must have got beaten up by loads of people because, he's the only person there signing contracts on people.
Oh my God, you got to fight me for your contract.
Yeah, because no contract signing can ever go down without a beat down, of course. So yeah, obviously Evolution come out to the ring. They kind of do a bit of small talk, and they both sign the contracts, and they essentially fight with each other inside the ring. Triple H busts out the sledgehammer, and we did say we called it last week. The Shield had 2 weeks of coming out on top. Evolution were going to beat them up on this show, and they do.
That's it. Out came Old Faithful, and it all went wrong.
Now, what's interesting about this is that it was leaked apart in the WWE magazine that's coming out, where Ambrose says in it something about who's the funniest people he's known, and he says my former teammates Rollins and Reigns. My former teammates, he says in it.
I saw the same thing, and I've heard things that was actually printed around the time of like Mania.
Oh, okay.
When that were around the sort of time when the story was to split them up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
don't know.
We'll see. We know it's going to happen soon. Shield aren't going to stick around for ages and ages and ages. In fact, they've had quite a few months of sticking together.
To be honest, if I'd be happy to see them split once the story with Evolution's done.
Maybe
who's
leading
next?
leading into the three of them having a three-way at SummerSlam. Yeah, I think that'd be perfect.
Exactly, because like who's after Evolution? What's next?
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna bring Arn Anderson out, and it's just like we'll do the Four Horsemen versus the Shield.
Oh
It's
god.
like some crazy guy out the back just like shouting about dream matches.
And
The Horsemen.
all
Eugene is out the back.
God.
Eugene's the booker.
He booked TNA this week. That's all I can say. So yeah, this whole thing is fine. It does its job. We've seen plenty of beatdowns between these two groups. The only thing I can say is that I think this will be their last match, but I wouldn't put it past them to do another one. That's the thing, and they like to go in threes, don't they? But I think Batista does have to go and promote his movie. In fact, I'm a bit shocked he hasn't gone to do that already. So I think he is going to. I think this Payback match will be the last one he'll have for a little while.
Where do you go after a no holds barred elimination match?
They could probably do something.
What's next?
I don't know.
A last. Okay,
I wouldn't put it past WWE.
I can accept a last man standing is the next step up from a steel cage match. So
I don't agree. I think that steel cage should be almost on the same par as a Hell in a Cell match, but that's just me.
Yeah. But we're talking current day WWE.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They could follow up any match with anything. They still think that's the right thing to do because they've done it before. So this is the same. These are the same guys that did a TLC match for the unification of the belts and followed up with a singles match between. Alton and Cena. So they obviously don't care about building up to anything. They're just going to give you the match or the flavour of the month they think that's going to work at that time. So that was Raw this week. Certainly a lot better than TNA had. It's not a great show by any means, but still better than what TNA had. Although it wasn't very hard. I imagine pretty much every single show that was done, even the indies done this week, had a better show than TNA did. So some good wrestling to be had here. Not very long matches, unfortunately. So while there are good, decent matches to be seen, they don't exactly stick around for much long. Drew McIntyre, Business, Eva Marie, all that garbage is probably one of the worst things to come out of Raw recently. But it's not a complete train wreck. I think that's probably what I can say about WWE this week. Wasn't a great show. Wasn't a train wreck. Will you agree with that? Or
yeah, I can kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
There's some good matches to be had, but yeah, just
But
then there was the rest of it.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
It went up and down too much. The quality of the show. For the bits that were good, they were pretty good. The bits that were bad, unfortunately, is just horrific. But maybe they can get away with it because their closest competition is TNA, and if they're having shows of this caliber each week, WWE can laugh that all the way to the bank. So Payback predictions. As you know, before we do the pay-per-view each week, we do our predictions. I'm going to tally them up as it comes towards SummerSlam. We're going to see who's actually close enough. I'll do all that research and see who's ahead. I don't think we're that far away from each other. I think maybe one of us is maybe 1 or 2 ahead from the other, but I don't think it's much.
I think we're level.
Yeah, we could be completely level as well.
Because I think there was like one match that I think there was like 2 matches where we disagreed and we both got one wrong, one right each.
Yeah. I'm gonna. You've got the match list up of the actual official matches that have been named. I'm gonna name the 2 that we think are going to be added on anyway. Yep. So Rusev and Big E. Rusev all day long.
Yep.
I know
you. Story going fresh.
I don't even know how to explain why Rusev's on the rise. Big E at the moment has been using a stepping stone to get Rusev over as more powerful, evil heel for people to rival against. And the other one, Adam Rose against Jack Swagger. Adam Rose to win. So the thing is because he's new as well. So these new guys are going to get the.
It would be stupid not to have Adam Rose come out in Chicago.
Yeah, I think he'll get a good response in Chicago personally. Yeah. So I think he'll have. I think this match has got a lot more chance of it going on than I think the Rusev one. But I think the both of them will. I think both these matches will be on the pay-per-view. So
yeah.
So 5 matches have been announced. Let's go through the list. What have you got there, Matt?
Well, 6 because one of them's the kickoff.
Okay, we'll talk about the kickoff as well, I guess.
The hair versus mask match. Hornswoggle versus El Torito.
El Torito to win.
Yeah, Hornswoggle's going to get shaved.
Yeah. And they're going to make loads of. They're probably going to. You know what they're probably going to do when he's bald? They're probably going to team him up with the Big Show. Because why the fuck not?
Because now we got Big. Because then we'll just end up with little shows.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh no, we've said it.
We said
It's
it.
gonna happen.
It's going to happen. Okay, move on.
So we got the Divas Championship match.
Paige.
Paige.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the reason they're doing this, they want to give doubts. I think that my worry about this is they're going to have Fox pretty much dominate her the way that they've done, and then Paige get the lucky win. Paige has got to get more legitimate. I mean, she was never booked this way in NXT. She's always a fighter. Yeah, she got beaten up a lot, but she always gave out just as equally as much as she got. She always gave out.
Yeah.
But at the moment,
it was always a 50-50 match with Paige matches. In NXT. And now here, she's just getting the shit kicked out of her, and then she gets a lucky win.
Yeah, and I don't like the way they booked that.
No,
and obviously, she wasn't even on the show this week. Well, she was doing the Big E staring into a TV screen.
Yeah.
So that was all that she was involved in this week. So
that's it. So United States Championship match.
Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yep.
I think it's too early to take the belt off Cesaro. Off of Sheamus.
Yeah,
I could see this being a DQ though, because I don't think they want Cesaro to get pinned at the moment. I think they might have because Cesaro's been having
the same way as like when like Cesaro will go a little bit crazy and sort of like get ahead of himself and get
himself DQ, but he'll batter Sheamus. Maybe Sheamus will lay him out at the end, but I just don't see Cesaro getting pinned. So I think it will either be DQ or something along those lines. So
yeah, I can completely agree with you there. Yeah. So I think it sort of stands with the same thing. It's still too early. Intercontinental title match.
Yeah, too early to have it taken off Barrett.
Barrett wins.
Barrett, yeah. And good as well.
It will be a win.
Yeah, I think that a win for RVD does nothing to RVD, and it damages Barrett. So you need to have Barrett at least have a little bit of reign for the title. Then you can maybe have him do something else. I don't know, but for him to win it and lose it that quickly, just not good to me.
Completely agree with that.
Yeah.
So the last man standing match.
Oh, Cena Wyatt. The final two matches at least spark up a little bit of unpredictability in myself. I think that Cena will win. I don't think that WWE are ready to stop Cena from being a guy that loses rivalries. You just look at his. I know it's Wyatt. We want him to win. We want him to win this rivalry, but Wyatt has been so on top all the way through this that it just seems that WWE are going to do the same thing they've always done with Cena and have Cena win. That's my opinion. What about you?
Okay. I'm going to put for Wyatt.
Okay. What's your thoughts behind it?
Well, mainly because what does he do after that?
Yeah.
If he was to lose to Cena, what does he do?
I do agree with you. I don't know where he goes from after that.
And he will then just be. It would be a storyline that they've put a lot of time in, and that clearly a lot of the crowd is brainwashed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would definitely I know there's
in Chicago, man. They're going to be.
That's it.
Bray heavy.
There's definitely he's going into Chicago, and he's definitely not going to have the crowd's backing. And we're probably going to see the better part of about 18,000 mobile phones be held up during their entrance, during the Wyatt entrance. But it's a storyline they've put a lot of time into, and it's a storyline that they've put a lot of time. They put a lot of, I say, money into. They've got people in to assist. They got the kids choir and all things like that. But
time is money, isn't it? So
that's it. But none of it's been in the benefit of Cena.
Well, but I also think that they often do this to build up the odds against Cena for him to win.
Yeah,
I want Wyatt to win.
I agree with you there, but
I want Wyatt to win. I think that, as you said, I think I think actually losing will do Cena more favours, because the main reason why Cena gets booed is because he comes off as someone as inhuman. That he has no weaknesses.
Yeah.
So people can't take him seriously. That's why he gets booed. So him losing to this, and maybe the odds did overcome me. I'm sorry, I can't beat him. He's too strong. May do better for Cena in the long term than him just beating Wyatt. But I think Cena will get the win.
Okay, so you're going to go with what WWE think we want rather than what we want,
which is often what they normally do.
Yeah,
but you're going to go with your heart and say Wyatt.
This is just I want Wyatt to win more than I want WWE to think I want Cena to win.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So,
and also I think the crowd's got that. I think WWE they recently with the whole Daniel Bryan thing. I think WWE are too stupid to not listen to the crowd.
I wouldn't put it past him. That's the reason why I'm going for Cena. But I can understand. I mean, if Wyatt wins, I wouldn't put it completely beyond them. I just think you look at WWE's track record, how they book Cena. They ain't going to make him lose his rivalry. He hasn't lost a rivalry in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
5 years. Even I thought he lost the rivalry to Rock, and he didn't end up doing that because he got the last laugh by beating him at Mania for the belt. So
A year later.
and a year later.
Yeah.
So like, it seems like no matter what happens, he will eventually get the comeuppance against whoever he goes against. So we'll see. Anyway, in terms of it being a good match, I'm not so sure. The matches that I thought that there could be really potential between these guys have not actually delivered. So I'm a little bit skeptical of calling this a potential match of the night, because now I've said that, it probably will be, but they haven't lived up to the quality I think they can do so far in the ring.
So
Okay,
now it comes down to it.
it does indeed.
Shield and the Evolution.
I'd like to hear your thoughts first before I announce what I think.
Okay. Shield.
Okay, why do you think Shield?
As a final thing, oh no, I don't know.
You said it with such confidence, and now it's like,
I
oh.
know, but now I'm just sort of like, but then I'm sort of like, but why? Yeah.
Do you want me to explain why I've got
It's
mine?
difficult because I could put Evolution over, because if they're losing Batista, then they can't have their rematch. And considering this is a rematch where the Shield of like, we want a rematch, even though we won, but you're not going to let us win, sort of thing. And it would essentially just play straight into Evolution's hands.
Yeah, my pick for this is I think Evolution will win.
Okay.
The reason being is that I may be contradicting myself to what happened, what I said was going to happen last week, but I did not think that Evolution was going to be lasting this long as a stable. I think that there's nothing really to be gained from Shield beating them again. I think that them losing to Evolution may give them the doubts that they need to break up as a faction. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
And it reflects really badly on Triple H if after all these resources and all this stuff that he's done, he still can't beat them. You know what I mean? After all this time,
Yeah.
Which I guess should have been booked very, very well. It's a tough one to call. Like I said, I wouldn't put it past Shield to win. That's why these last two matches are a little bit unpredictable with it. But I do see Evolution getting the win, giving Batista that win. So when he leaves to do his thing, I don't think he's going to be gone for very long. Maybe a month, maybe 2 months, and then he'll be back. He comes back
like a month tops. Yeah.
Yeah, and they can still reference the fact that they can still have Randy Orton and Triple H part of Evolution while Batista's off, and Batista maybe can do some interviews like via satellite or stuff like that, and keep the band together. But we'll see how it goes. That's what I think anyway. I think that if Evolution were going to be a flash in the pan, they wouldn't have come back for this match, and that's the reason why I think they are going to come back and win this one. So
Yeah.
But what's your final choice, Shield or Evolution? Ooh, I can hear the cogs turning.
You swayed me.
You're going Evolution as well.
Going Evolution.
Oh man, if Shield win, you won't be happy at all, will you?
Oh, not at all. But there we go.
All right, so so the only one that we've got different out of the whole show is the Wyatt Cena match. So I'll be anticipating that match with bated breath, so to speak. So if you guys want to tell us what your predictions for the show is, I'll be more than happy to read them. And if anyone gets a full sweep in the comments, then I'll be more than happy to make a reference to you on here. If you want to ask us a question as well about our predictions or anything that we said on the show, we'll be more than happy to maybe talk about them on the show if they're intriguing enough. So intrigue us in the comment section. Apart from that, I think we're done this week, Matt. I think we're wrapping up here. We've had an episode where we've had a lot of negative stuff to say. We've fished around for some positive stuff to watch this week. And like I said, NXT TakeOver is probably taking place as we speak. So
probably not.
Or in a couple of hours, whatever. So yeah, we look forward to that. And NXT. Last time NXT came around was in a week of bad stuff as well. NXT Arrival, and that was like the saviour of that week as well. And I really enjoyed it. So I'm expecting good things from them on that event. But apart from that, thank you guys for catching the show this week. This has been the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. If you're new to the show, why not subscribe if you enjoyed, and that way you can catch every single episode of LTW and the extra ones we do for the pay-per-view reviews. We may not have the pay-per-view review up as quickly as we normally do next week, but it will be up regardless throughout the week, so you can listen to our thoughts on the Payback pay-per-view, which we're not... we're not exactly 100% excited for. The card is pretty weak, and we're going to admit, but we'll see how it goes from there. I mean, Extreme Rules was better than it had any right to be, I think, with the card that it had. So,
definitely, yeah.
we'll see what they can come up with, and hopefully TNA gets the act together and gives me some good wrestling next week. Because if they continue to do shows like this, I won't want to review it each week because I don't like ranting on shows. So, if they keep doing bad stuff, I just won't review it. There you go, TNA. That's my ultimatum. So. So apart from that, guys, if you do want to support the show, share it all along the social media business. Like the video if you'd like to. It's not integral, but it does give us a bit of a boost. To know you guys are liking the videos. I know a few of you are liking the videos, and I do appreciate that. And like I said, if you've got any questions at all, then leave a comment or send it to us on our YouTube channel. Just message us on there. And if they're good enough, then you may not get a message back because your message back will be on the episode itself. We'll actually talk about your question on air, which we've done a few times before for people that have left questions before as well. But apart from that, I think I've done all my promoting. I am going to be off to watch the boxing this weekend and NXT as well. So a lot of stuff for me to watch over the weekend. I hope you guys have a great weekend as well. And apart from that, we will catch you next week.
That's it.
Alright, we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.
See you then.
Bye bye.